You have to stop, all right? You have to stop being lazy. You have to stop procrastinating. You have to stop postponing things and telling yourself that you're gonna do it another day, that you'll do it at another time, because you never know. You never know if you're gonna have that opportunity again. You never know if you're gonna have that time. You don't know if you're gonna have the memory to remember that there's something that has to be done. You can't leave things like that up to faith. If you want something done, you have to go out there and you have to take action, all right? You have to stop being in this mindset that things are just gonna come to you, all right? You have to realize that things don't just come to you, all right? No matter how much you spend time thinking about those things, at the end of the day, if you're not willing to go out there and put in the work, put in the grind, the struggle, the hustle, the pain, go through failure, none of that is gonna happen, all right? Nobody's just gonna hand you stuff over. And if that ever happened, guess what? You just became dependent on the person or the thing that's giving you what you want. And that source will not be there forever either. But guess what? You will, all right? So as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, as long as you have what you have, you can still go out there and take small steps to get to where you want to. Yes, those things will not come to you from one day to another, no matter how hard you work, okay? You may be watching this video and you're working super extremely hard right now to get to where you want to get to, but guess what? It's only one small step that you're taking today, even though you work 13, 15, 18, 20 hours today. You have to understand that at the end of the day, it's just one little small step towards that big goal. But keep in mind that that big goal will not matter as much as it does if it wasn't because it takes all these small steps in order for you to get there, right? This is why not many people make it, because they get discouraged, they get disappointed, because they put in all this hard work and it doesn't pay off immediately. You guys are looking for that instant pleasure, that instant gratification. And the thing is, you won't find it. Not in these big visions. Not when you're trying to make an impact in the world. No, that's not gonna happen from one day to another. This is something you have to take small steps and make very small increments every single day in order to push yourself forward and get to that goal and get to that vision so much faster. But you ain't gonna get there if you just sit and be lazy and wait for things to just happen. You can't just rely on luck. You can't just rely on the circumstances. You can't just rely on your friends and your family. You can't just rely on people to just help you out and give you a hand, because that may happen or that may not. And you have to be ready to go out there and take action despite what's going on around you, despite if people want to help you out or not. You have to be willing to just take action. You have to be willing to just do it. Even though you're not making big increments, even though you're not taking big steps, even though you're not making huge progress, you still have to go out there and do something about it. Do something. It doesn't always have to be the big things, the things that you can show off to people and be like, hey, you know what? Today I went from beginner to intermediate. And the day that you go from beginner to intermediate, that's because you spend weeks, months, years in the beginner phase. And finally that day comes when you've hustled so much at the beginner stage that it's time for you to move on to the intermediate stage. But you see, when people see this, they don't realize that you had to go through an immense journey in order to get there. People only see that transition, but they don't see all the hard work, all the nights you have to spend awake, having nightmares, just thinking, how are you gonna do this? How are you gonna take the next step? How are you gonna progress? Where are you gonna get willpower from? How are you gonna be motivated enough to go out there and do what you have to do when it's so hard? Sometimes it's physically hard. Sometimes it's emotionally hard. But the fact is, it's always gonna be hard, no matter what. So you have to accept that fact. And you have to stop being lazy because, like I said at the beginning of this video, nobody knows how much time we have left. Okay? This may be it. You can't just sit around waiting for things to happen. You can't just wait around being pessimistic, being negative, thinking that the world owes you something, thinking that you're entitled to all these big things just because of who you are. The fact is, you're not entitled to nothing. If you want something, you have to go out there and earn it yourself. You're not entitled to anything. You haven't done anything. Not yet, at least.